Good morning. It's JB Portello here. I know you were expecting to see Jerry, but Jerry's getting a little needed rest and vacation right now, so you have to put up with me. But here's what we're going to do. I am so excited because spring is here, and what we don't want to do is get so excited that we start going out buying stuff and doing things we don't need to do yet. I have an amazing guest today. His name is Tim Peschier. I did it, didn't I?
You did it perfectly.
All right.
Yes.
Tim is amazing because he does so many things. He is the owner-operator of Green Ninja Taxi. So if you ever want to go anywhere, just call Green Ninja.
Give me a call.
Yeah. In addition, he is a key player in Positively Bella Vista, and what Positively Bella Vista does, I'm going to let you say, what does Positively Bella Vista do?
Positively Bella Vista connects neighbors with neighbors. It's basically neighbors helping neighbors with certain needs. You know, we don't do everything, but we certainly can help somebody in need for a short amount of time. You know, everybody goes through seasons of life, and sometimes it's firewood when it's cold. Sometimes it's building a ramp, a handicap ramp or something like that to help in the interim. So yeah, it's neighbors helping neighbors, and that's what Positively Bella Vista is all about, is making that connection.
And in addition to that, he calls himself a community connector, which kind of encompasses everything you do.
Well, it does. I like to connect people with businesses. I've been in Bella Vista for 30 years. So I know the community well, and I know how to be able to connect people with people to make events larger and better and bigger. Sometimes bigger is better.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the bigger things you do, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, is the trash pickup thing. Talk about that.
Yeah, you know, we just had the trash pickup on March 20th, Saturday, March 20th, and it was a huge success. And as you know, trash was everywhere on 71B, and it was my job to coordinate all the volunteers and all the people that wanted to help to pick up trash that day. And how we do it, it's called 6 and 60, and it's picking up 6 miles of trash in 60 minutes. Because I don't want people out there all day and ruining their Saturday. They can come in for an hour, pick up trash. They pick a section of the highway, they sign up. They go out there, they come back, have a hot dog or a brat, and
you had sponsors there for food and everything, didn't you?
Oh yeah, Steve Morrow from Allen's was real helpful with that, with the food. Positively Bella Vista picked up the buns and the condiments and all that good stuff. So next year is going to be even bigger and better. We had about 100 volunteers.
Did you?
We did. Yeah.
That's what all those bags were laying on the side of the road?
Yeah.
And then what happens? Somebody comes and picks those up?
RDOT comes and picks those up a few days later. You know, we like to leave the bags on the side of the highway to let everybody know that trash has certainly been picked up, and it took a lot of people, and RDOT comes by in a couple days, and next thing you know, we don't have any more trash.
I love it. I love it.
Me too.
Okay, so today, Tim contacted me, I don't know, several months ago now, sometime during the winter when we couldn't do a lot with what the garden club calls the yard of the month. We've been doing this now for maybe 3 years, I think. But Tim called me one day and said, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we got people from the community to donate some prizes for winning the yard of the month? So that's why he's here today, plus we just need to promote the yard of the month a little bit. It's been kind of, I think the yard of the month COVID hit the yard of the month too.
Well, it hit everything, and I think it's real important to have a yard of the month because it promotes the beauty of Bella Vista. People love to take care of their yard.
Yeah.
And if people don't like to take care of their yard, it kind of helps go, hey, kind of nudges people in the right direction, saying, you know, I could probably do that.
That's right.
You know, so
that's right.
I think it's really important.
So coming up, we're hopeful to have you do your connecting thing, and we will have prizes from different businesses in the community, as well as the Bella Vista Garden Club will gives everybody the Bella Vista daffodil, and we'll talk about that a little bit more now. On the screen right now, you see this is a picture of the sign that goes in the yard for anybody that wins. We're going to, here's how it works. This is how it works. If you have noticed a yard lately that looks really beautiful, you can even recommend yourself. It doesn't matter. The Garden Club sponsors a Yard of the Month, and it's to promote goodwill and reward you for taking care of your yard. The club chooses somebody that nominations are from the community. The club then chooses somebody who does their own work. We're not out there to talk about, what yard service do you use?
Right.
Because so many people take care of their own yard, and they do such a good deal.
They should be rewarded for that.
They should.
Yeah.
All homes and businesses, so it can be a commercial entity too,
Okay.
are eligible. And you get that sign that we shown earlier in your yard for about a month, and the newspaper comes out. We do a big article, and it's worthwhile.
Right. That's exactly what I'd like to do. Is to be able to expose the Yard of the Month with a local business, and it doesn't have to be a landscaping company, but it could be a local business around town that rewards those people that work so hard on their yard, and give them some notification and give them some exposure in the paper, in the Weekly Vista, or on the local news, and give everybody exposure that they deserve.
Oh, I agree with you. You know, I brought a PowerPoint slide today to show you to show all of us, to remind us of a few of the winners in the past.
Oh,
and
super.
I'm thinking that here in a few minutes it'll be on the screen, and we can talk about it. Oh, here we go. Nice. Bella Vista Garden Club. Let's beautify Bella Vista. That's what it's all about.
I love it.
Yeah. This just gives you an idea of what we just talked about. This is usually in the paper and on social media quite often. So, and I gave you a copy today, so
Yeah, this is great.
You can actually tell people about that.
I'm going to tell a lot of people about it.
I bet you are.
I'm going to nominate myself too, if that's okay.
You can. You can. All right, so here you go. We're not going to talk about names necessarily today, but here are some slides of some of the people that have won over the years. I think we've been doing this since 2017. So this was one of the yards. This is a newer house that was built, and they were so like, oh my goodness, don't do this yet, I'm not finished. I'm like, looks good to me.
Yeah,
So
it sure does.
this is a nice start. Let's go. Here is another one that was just amazing. And if I'm not mistaken, this lady did all of this work herself.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful entry. Here is another, same sort of thing. I meet these little bitty people that actually have built ponds from the digging it out to putting everything in. It's amazing.
I don't know how they do it, because you need a pickaxe for sure to dig anything.
Right. It's
in
called
Bella
a,
Vista.
what is it called? A Bella Vista toothpick, or an Arkansas toothpick?
Bella Vista toothpick? Yeah, oh yeah. Or
yeah.
a Bella Vista shovel.
That's right. Okay, let's see. That's us. Let's go back to the slides if we could. Here's another. A lot of people build memorials to relatives and that sort of thing. So even though this happens to be a gravel yard, which isn't necessarily my favorite, but it's okay. I guess they're low maintenance.
Sometimes it works.
It works, and if the hardscape is beautiful, I mean, why not? It's all about beautifying your yard. Let's try another, please. Okay, look at that. Look at her entryway there, and the slide.
You can tell how proud she is.
Yes, absolutely. There are gardens. There are little vignettes. I call them little vignettes throughout the yard.
You've got to have a focal point, don't you?
You do.
Right? When you're building a garden or a Yard of the Month, you've got to have a trail or a path that leads to some sort of focal point, and then away, and then to another point.
Yeah, you don't really have to have that, but that's the art of gardening and of landscaping. Let's keep going here. There's another one. This one was amazing. Now, this guy, that yard was incredible. And he told me later that he was at one time, even though he did this all himself, a professional landscaper.
Wow.
I'm like, no kidding.
Yeah, I would nominate myself too if I was.
Well, he didn't nominate. I just drove by and I thought, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
that's
at any
beautiful.
rate, Oh, and this, I think you recognize that guy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's.
I do. I recognize him.
Yeah, this was my friend our friend, who built a beautiful new home, did all the scape themselves, and even his kitty cat over here in the corner is like, hey.
I recognize that mulch because I helped put that mulch in.
Did you put that mulch in?
I did. He probably wouldn't say that.
Oh, well.
But I'm going to. I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit there.
And you should, because it has to be not a professional landscaper. It needs to be the community pulling together to do this.
I am the non-professional help that was definitely there.
Yes. Well, that's good to know. All right, so let's try a little bit more here. Oh, my goodness. Jen Noki, I hope she doesn't mind me saying her name. She moved from California and several years ago bought up a lot of property above Blowing Springs and did a wildlife preserve, because she had one in California.
Wow.
And she just totally renovated this yard. Now, she just sold her house and moved.
I heard.
But
yeah.
she is amazing. Here is a memorial. One of these, this winter, actually did a memorial to their son who was killed. And it's gorgeous. If you
Yeah,
ever
it
go
looks
by
really
there,
great.
they change it out all the time. They have flags and they were the sweetest people, really. You know, and look, even here's one in the fall.
Yeah, a little
See the
seasonal
pumpkins?
action.
Yeah.
Looks great.
We do this all year round as long as the yards are still looking good
Sure.
and the weather is not ridiculous. But let's see, I think, here's another one of
yeah.
I call this lady my
I
bookend
know
because
those
her name
guys.
is BJ and my name is JB.
Yeah.
So she has there's a story behind her little angels over here in the yard. Her
Okay.
husband is very devoted to her, and he does all kinds of sweet things for her, like build that yard when she's out of town.
Yeah, they did a really great job.
They did, didn't they? All right. And then I think that the next one, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, has anybody been by City Hall lately? Because this is happening.
It's as good as it's ever been.
Yeah, this was a few years ago, but the mayor took the opportunity to stand out by the sign. This just shows you that we do commercial landscaping
Right.
as well, or yards. Now, we don't do backyards. This is front and side, and
Okay.
it's street.
Okay,
kind of
that's good to
stuff.
know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you a question
Yes.
about this particular
Yes.
slide, because it shows the Bella Vista daffodil. Now, it seems it's thicker than ever. Do those daffodil bulbs multiply?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, in the winter they're all down there going, hey,
Yeah.
let's spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, and eventually you're going to have to thin them out and do more for it.
But it's really beautiful and full.
We sell these. The Garden Club sells these. You know, here's
there's-
another example of it. We sell these in the fall as well, and we also plant a whole bed. And out at the wastewater plant, we overwinter those, and then we all go out there and dig them up and resell them or give them
Beautiful.
away.
Yeah, they're great.
Do you have any at all?
I don't have any in my yard personally. I do have daffodils of all different varieties, but not the Bella Vista one.
Well, then you do now, because I have a pot for you. that
Wonderful,
can
thank you.
transfer.
Yeah, thanks.
If you don't mind, pick up that Brent and Becky's catalog there. And if the camera could get a hold of this would be really great. And maybe zoom in on this a little bit if we can. Because what I'd like to show you about Brent and Becky's catalog, if you can zoom in a little bit. There you go. You see the Bella Vista daffodil? Can you kind of point to that, Tim, right there? That's how we discovered it. Brent and Becky's works with us, and that's the real name of the daffodil. It's a little bigger,
Right.
with an orange center and white. And we, several years ago, Tony Lacossi, you know Tony, he made a deal with them, and we've been buying them ever since. And our goal was to, although we'll never be a Texas Bluebonnet lucky enough to do that,
Right.
we want, when people drive into Bella Vista in the spring, to look like, oh my goodness, look at all these beautiful flowers.
Right. Right. I
That-
think it's a great idea.
That's the point. That
Yeah.
was the point.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why we shouldn't be.
And through the Garden Club, we get points if people buy from Brett and Becky's as well.
Oh, okay, good.
So that's very helpful. Some of the other, let's talk a little bit more about what's going on right now. I brought tools today. I brought all kinds of things that I want to show you. And first of all, let's talk about my favorite watering can right here. You see the hog?
Oh, this is great.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I actually, somebody was going to throw that away. And he's got a tail and the whole thing.
Yep.
He's pretty cool. That's my favorite watering can.
and
works.
it's balanced just right too, right?
Yeah. Isn't he cute?
I love it. Love it. Now, was that handmade here in Bella Vista?
I don't know. I found it in, I'm a kind of a connector too. I rescue vintage things. And I was going to paint him, but I don't think I will. I think he's cool the way he is.
Yep, he's kind of rusting just right.
And he doesn't leak. I tried that out.
Okay, that's good in a watering can.
That's right. A couple of the tools that you kind of need right now, what we're doing is kind of cleaning out our beds. It's too early, folks. Don't be planting stuff yet. Okay, it's too early. We talked earlier, what was the frost date?
April 15th.
Somewhere along in there,
Yep.
that supposedly, if Mother Nature cooperates, then that's the last possible frost.
It's so hard to hold out when you know it's going to be 70 one day and 60 another day. It's so hard to keep those plants inside when you want to get them out and growing.
That's right, because you want the soil to be at least 50 degrees before you start doing that. But, all the folks, and this is not a slam or anything against all the Lowe's and Walmart and all that,
Sure.
but they've got all their plants out. Well,
Right.
and a lot of people are buying them. But here's the deal. You get to buy them 2 or 3 times if you put them out now.
That's exactly right. They love that customer, don't they?
They do.
Now, I heard on another show on YouTube that those plants come in so addicted to growth
Hormones.
that they're almost addicted. So when you do bring them home, they go through withdrawal, and they're never as good as the day you first buy them. They get a little worse every time, unless you don't fertilize them yourself
Right.
constantly.
Right?
That's happened to me so many times.
So many times.
With geraniums. You buy the geraniums, and they're so full and they're so big, and I get them home, and I kind of do my watering.
Do you pinch off the dead
I
head?
pinch off the dead ends, and then before you know it, they're very spindly and
all of that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things you can do along with that is actually, you see my Go Native sign down here? You see this? As well as being a master gardener and a garden club, I'm also a master naturalist
Oh, wonderful.
for the state, actually. So we have huge plant sales. We call them donations. You donate money and we give you plants because it's a nonprofit. But we raise all of our own. We do all the seed propagation. We have a huge greenhouse that we work in down in South Fork and West Fork. Sorry,
West
this
Fork,
is
yeah.
not Dallas.
Right.
West Fork.
Yes.
But the plants are wonderful. We don't use. We're organic gardeners.
Okay. Yep.
So we only use natural products on them. And so one of the ways that you can really enhance your yard and make sure that deer and all of the kind of critters that you worry about, like for instance tulips are so beautiful, aren't they?
Yes.
That is like smorgasbord for deers.
I've
deer
found that
love
out.
that.
Right. I
Yeah.
found that out with my bulbs.
Yeah.
And as soon
Squirrels.
as they start to squirrels, we need to talk about how to avoid that happening to your bulbs.
It's 22. No, I'm sorry.
It's a 20. I understand.
Or have dogs. I have 3 dogs,
Oh.
and they pretty much patrol the yard.
Okay.
So
Yeah, my dog likes to bark, so he's out.
yeah.
That option's out.
But anyway, that is one of the things you can look forward to. There are an awful lot of plant sales and things like that are coming up. Compton Gardens does one.
Yes.
The
It's currently
Master
going on.
Gardeners. All of these.
Yeah.
They will have some good things. Would you mind picking up that Missouri Wildflower book right over here?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And if you guys could zoom in on that for me a minute. this is, we're almost in Missouri right here. You know, not far.
Yeah.
And this is one of the best books ever for pictures, identification, all kinds of things like that. We give this to one of 5 books that we give to the students that we train for Master Naturalists. And I just, if you're interested in wildflowers at all, I recommend that book so highly.
They do a wonderful job of filling in the spaces.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of lots,
Yes.
vacant lots here.
Yes.
And it's great to spread out those seeds and have those vacant spaces taken up by what grows well natively.
That's right.
So.
The golf course, you know how they, I don't know if they're doing that this year again or not, but you know that one golf course as you drive through
Yeah,
Bella Vista?
Birksdale.
Yes.
They did a whole lot of flowers like that, didn't they?
Now, the thing with those flowers, everybody kind of, you know, before you kind of complain about things, sometimes it might be good to get some idea of why things are done the way they're done. We had these gorgeous flowers growing along the roadside, and then, of course, they kind of started going back to their natural state. And then we had people like, why don't they mow those weeds? Well, they're not weeds.
Right.
And if you cut them down, they will not come back.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons things like that happen. Let's talk about a few of my favorite things, other than my pig. I like my pig. Let's talk about some of the tools that that right now that I would really love to share. This little job. This is a. Now I'm going to say something I shouldn't because I'm also into edible herbs.
Wow.
But let's just, I won't talk about dandelions, but this is a good way to pull it out of the ground, okay? Or a weed.
Because a dandelion has a taproot.
Yes, anything but the taproot. Now, the dandelion greens are good to eat, so you got to be careful about that. And chickweed right now.
Yes, it's growing like crazy. You can watch it grow.
You can watch it grow. And I just did a class recently for the state master gardeners on edible, is it food or is it a weed? Chickweed tastes like corn silk, but it's really good in salads and other things. So, you know, before you just mow that down or pull it up,
plenty of food right there in your yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But be
amazing.
careful, because it may not be what you think it is.
That would be a shame.
It would, wouldn't it?
Now the dandelion, is every part of the dandelion edible? Have I heard that?
Yes, yes, and in so many ways. I mean, you can even brew the root for coffee or grind it up for coffee. There's a dandelion coffee, there's a dandelion tea, the greens are good. And most importantly, right now, even some of these weeds are out there for the pollinators. Because I was really angry at this henbit that was growing in the middle of my path. And that's that purple flower that makes the whole field look like purple, which is beautiful.
Henbit.
It's an early pollinator for the bees and things like that.
Right.
So as I was pulling it out, or starting to pull it out of my path now, not, you know, out of my path, a bumblebee came by, and I'm like, oh, darn it.
Yeah,
He was looking for that flower.
Yeah.
So they're out there. A few other little things. There's always, you know, the good old trowel. You know, oh, and look, this is terrible because look what I did. I left the dirt on it to show you that you shouldn't do that.
Oh, you shouldn't leave the dirt on there.
No,
You
you
should
really
clean
need
it,
to keep your tools clean. This one is called a snake something. This particular one is my favorite tool. Snakehead tool, I think. But it kind of looks that way. And it is good for digging out those rocks that we raise here in Bella Vista.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you raise rocks?
We do. We grow them. We could make a fortune.
We could, if we could figure out how to paint them and sell them or something. Another, you have one.
I do. This is my favorite tool. Now, is this a hand claw? Is that what you call this?
You can call it anything you want. How do you use it?
Now, I just used this yesterday in my mulch where I have my tulips growing in my spider wort that's coming up for the second year.
Good.
And so the chickweed grows like crazy, and even though you have a lot of mulch down, it's great for pulling off that chickweed and pulling it out and setting it aside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is my favorite tool.
You know, a lot of the tools, I have a really bad habit of using them and laying them down, doing something else, and then I can't find them again. You ever have that problem?
All the time.
Okay. Well, you may not want to do this, but one of the things that I got or found recently or somebody made for me is they took an old pair of jeans
That's a great idea.
and it's got pockets on it and you can put it around your waist and you know your phone can go over here.
See, those are great jeans for when you go on a diet and you have your old big jeans that are just sitting around in the closet. You can make it into something like that.
That's right.
And
That's
still
right.
wear it.
That's right. It's recycle, reuse,
Yeah.
repurpose.
Right.
Yeah. So this was fun. And then, of course, one of the other things that's important to everybody, really, I don't know if guys do it, but I do. This is actually Gardener's hand cream. Because your hands, you should always wear gloves. And I should have brought some today because gloves are important.
Right.
But this hand cream is really good for after you come in from doing the work in the yard.
Because the ground gets dusty, your hands get chapped, and I'm not scared to use that at all.
And it has a sunscreen in it too.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we need to watch out for right now, apparently there's been a new influx of ticks. I thought that winter probably killed them off.
You
but
know,
it
you
didn't.
hear that every year. You know, are we going to have ticks? Is it going to be a tick-full season? Because we had, it was minus 17 degrees below zero. It seems like that would kill off everything.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I could talk to you forever, and we'll just have to figure out another way to do this. But let's talk about what we need to do now in April
Right.
for the garden.
Okay.
First thing, you'll notice we have a hummingbird feeder over here. It's going to be time very soon to put that back out. Any kind you want. This just happens to be one I use. And the ratio there is 4:1 water to sugar. Don't put that red food coloring in there. You don't need to buy red coloring. Just 4:1 sugar, water.
They're going to know.
They know, and that coloring's not good for them. They want the natural stuff. We talked about spring cleanup. That's what
Yeah.
some of these tools are all about, right?
Right.
You were going to talk about perennials. What do we do for our perennials right now?
Well, the perennials, this is the month we go full speed ahead with planting perennials, trees and shrubs. So now's the time to get them in the ground.
Yep.
I just planted my, I'm not going to remember the name, gladiolas. I planted the gladiolas now so they can come up in the summertime.
There you go.
So
There you go. Annuals, hold off on planting those right now. Like we talked about earlier, it's too early, unless, of course, you do the little petunias, the little things that are they overwinter.
Right,
anyway,
sure.
you can do that. And herbs, unless you have a cover or something, but just wait. There may be still a few nights that are not up to their 40, they're below 40 degrees, so you don't want to do that. Your bulbs, you talked about that a little bit.
yeah, a little bit. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that once the flower is spent, our tendency is to get rid of the whole thing. But you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to leave that greenery on there until it's brown.
That's right, because that's feeding the root to come back next year.
That's exactly right.
That's right. House plants, I know some of you want to get those out there right now. I don't blame you. My house looks like a greenhouse on the inside right now, and I'd love to take them out, but don't do that yet. Give it a little bit of time. Your plants and you will both be happy if you do that. Lawns? What about the lawns?
Well, you want to start fertilizing after they turn green. After your lawn turns green for a little bit, give it a chance to grow. Give it a chance for that fall fertilizer to kind of kick in and last, and then you can feed it with some nitrogen-rich fertilizer.
Okay.
In a couple weeks.
Roses, there's new growth going out right now. Fertilize established roses, but be sure you water very carefully before and after. Watch for that black spot that roses get, treats it. Veggies, okay, you can do some things right now, but just take it easy.
I've got a bunch of seedlings started in the house.
Good for you.
And I won't put them outside per your request because the frost is coming up.
Well, you can, but you just have to do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so for more information on what to do in your garden each month, you can go to the Bella Vista Garden Club site, which is bellavistagardenclub.com. Yep. And the Master Gardener website, which is bentoncountygardening.org. and that has a lot of really good information. The next meeting of the Bella Vista Garden Club is April the 28th, which is the fourth Wednesday of each month, and they will meet at 9:30 at Reardon Hall. We will not be serving food there, but you can bring your own drink. And the program is all about bluebird habitat, nature, plants. One of my dear friends, Denise Klinger, is a master naturalist, and she is going to be the speaker. You're welcome to come.
Oh, super.
This is not just for members, because we
Okay,
welcome
super.
everybody. And are you a member yet? I can't remember. Well, you need to be.
I need to be.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
sorry
you're
that I'm
helping
not.
us.
I will be.
Yeah. Tim, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having
I
me.
love working with you, whether or not we're clearing branches out of trees or picking up trash.
Yeah.
Or,
It's always a pleasure.
yeah, thank
Always
you
a
so
pleasure.
much. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed the program today. I have, and I hope Jerry will give me a seal of approval sign for today's show. Remember, her favorite line is, "Don't forget to stop and smell the roses." See you next month.